Let me continue with the theme that I've been talking about the last couple of videos, which has to do with the retreat that I gave this last weekend. The theme was the love for Our Lady of Guadalupe and Ignatian spirituality. And I found myself talking about the principle and foundation, one of those key moments in the exercises when you really face what is human life about. Because St Ignatius tells us that human life is about praising, reverencing, and serving God, and by doing that, to come to eternal salvation. And then he goes further, and kind of with this very clear goal, he says, therefore, the things that the Lord has put in our life are there to help us towards that goal. And we should use them and care for them and cherish them insofar as they help us to that goal. But that if in some way some of these things can distract us from that goal or lead us away from that goal, we have to be willing to actually put them aside. He goes even further and he talks about the heart, about what we desire, that on our own, or I'm sorry, just, in and of themselves, health versus sickness, which is going to help us get closer to God. We have no preference. It's what God chooses. Wealth versus poverty. Well, we should have no preference for one or the other, simply which is going to help us closer to our goal. It's a bit difficult there. Having a good name or an infamous name shouldn't matter to us. The only thing that matters is which is going to help us closer to our goal. A long life or a short life. It's immaterial. Only what helps us to that goal. Not easy to do because we've grown up and in so many ways people have taught us and we've assimilated, we've made it our own that wealth is better than poverty and a long life better than a short life. Health is much better than sickness. People thinking well of us is much better than people thinking poorly of us. But St. Ignatius says no. All sorts of things can indicate to us that we have to be indifferent to everything and look at it only insofar as it leads us to our goal of loving, praising, reverencing, serving God. Not easy to do. But with the love of the Blessed Virgin Mary, with the love of God and the example of Christ, what happens is as we experience these beautiful moments in our hearts, the Lord begins to conquer our hearts. We begin to want to live only for God, want to live only immersed in the love of the Blessed Mother. And then that sort of indifference to long life, short life, wealth, poverty, it begins to permeate our lives because the only thing we really want to live for is for the love that we find from God and the love from the Blessed Mother and where that directs us in loving other people. Not about having the life that other people might dream would be the best life. The best life becomes for us with our hearts won by God and won by the Blessed Mother is the life that allows us to live more fully immersed in that love. To do this on our own is virtually impossible, that indifference. But to do this with hearts conquered by the Blessed Mother and by our Lord Jesus is what we long to do when we find our hearts no longer belong to us. And that's the wisdom of Ignatius for today.